Welcome back to the Two Blues podcast. Chelsea 3, Wolves 1. Another live match reaction back to winning ways. And Enzo Maresca's Chelsea are back in the top 4. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. As always, if you're not already, get your man of the matches into the chat. Get your thoughts into the chat ASAP. We are going to be going through them in a second. But let's just talk about Moises Caicedo. Let's just talk about Mark Cucurella. Some stand-up performers, but none better than Trevor Chalobah. The boy who lived. The boy who went out on loan, came back, returned, managed to survive somehow. Trevor Chalobah is back and better. Back doing it even better than he was before. Man of the match today. An assist, a goal stolen by Noni Madueke, you cheeky bastard. No way that should be Madueke's goal. That should have been Chalobah's goal every day of the week. Why Madueke felt the need to take that off him? Rude. But you know what? I hear it. You got to make sure it goes in, whatever. At times today, it felt like vintage Chelsea as of late. We're going to be comfortable. We're going to be going ahead, going into the last 10, 15 minutes, 1-0 up, no problems. And then it all comes crashing down. Those defensive frailties, that are inevitable in this Chelsea team just out themselves again. And today, I mean, look, the crash out, the Robert Sanchez crash out was going to be legendary. At halftime, I was ready to blow my lid. I was ready to go. I don't know how many more of these games I can take. What's that? 4 errors leading to goals in the Premier League this season for Robert Sanchez now. This guy is not a serious goalkeeper, let alone a top 4 goalkeeper, let alone a goalkeeper that's fit for Chelsea. This guy is not a serious individual. I'm telling you now, Robert Sanchez is not a serious guy. He is not a goalkeeper that is near good enough for Chelsea, near good enough for Champions League level quality football. The guy is just a genuinely diabolical, phone's dropped there, genuinely diabolical footballer. I don't understand. And we were talking in the pre-match preview, myself and Charms. It's nuts that both myself and Charms are older than everyone in this Chelsea squad. Tosin Adarabioyo is 27. Bro, me and Charms are 27. We're the same age as the oldest players in this Chelsea squad. We're older than the majority of them. I'm older than Robert Sanchez. So it's not like I could be sitting here going, you know what, have respect for my elders. Have respect for this guy. He's a professional footballer. This guy's a fucking bum. Absolute certified bum-ass motherfucker. This guy, 4 errors leading to goals in the Premier League already this season. You can't be serious. No one's going to take you seriously as a team if that is your standard. That is your goalkeeper. I'm sorry. Andre Onana is the laughing stock of the Premier League. And yes, we're better than Man United, but Robert Sanchez ain't that much better than Onana. I'll tell you that for free. Robert Sanchez couldn't do what Onana did in Inter Milan's Champions League final period, the period in which they got up to the campaign they got to the final. Bro, Sanchez has never shown those heights, but he's shown those flaws. He's shown that bottom. Jesus Christ, he just is the most consistent error. I just don't understand how week in, week out, Enzo Maresca has faith in this guy. The defenders clearly do not trust him. They do not look comfortable playing it in front of him. They don't look comfortable playing back to him. I know the look of a defender that can't play to their goalkeeper. I've been there. I've been in that situation. I'm a defender. I know what it's like when you do not have the option when you need to. If in doubt, worst case scenario, give it back to the keeper and send it long. When you can't even do that, you can't even trust your goalkeeper to pick out a good long pass, let alone short pass. You can't even trust your goalkeeper to put it long because he might give it to one of the attackers 20, 30 yards out. He can't even kick the fucking ball past the halfway line, bro. This guy is not serious. He's not a goalkeeper. He's not a serious footballer. He's not a serious guy. He is an op. He's an undie. He is obo. He's plain clothes. He is fed. He's a narc. He's whatever you want to call it. He's the other side. He's the other team. He's the enemy. He is the enemy. He's an enemy of progress. I'm calling it. I'm saying it here now for good. Robert Sanchez is an enemy of progress. We will never get to the top level. We will never get to the level we need and want to be with Robert Sanchez as our goalkeeper, man. It just ain't going to happen. The guy is just a serial fucking loser, bruv. The mistakes he makes, he's trapped in his own mind. The mentality sucks ass, bro. He has no faith in himself, no confidence in himself, even when he's playing well. It's like one thing can go wrong and his whole game crumbles. And the whole Chelsea team crumbles around that. And when you have a keeper like that and a team that is fragile like that, we can't have a keeper that does that. If this team crumbles around one mistake, one big mistake, you can't have your most mistake-prone player being the one between the sticks, because 9 times out of 10, when they make a mistake, it leads to a goal. Cannot happen. Unacceptable. It is unacceptable to be repeatedly playing Robert Sanchez in goal when he continually proves to us he's not good enough. We know for a fact this guy's not good enough. We've known for over a season now this guy's not good enough. Consistently not cutting the mustard. Consistently not hitting the level that we need him to hit. As a Chelsea goalkeeper, we're not even in Europe competition. He's not even been playing in Europe, bro. I don't even know if he'd have been able to handle Heidenheim. I don't know if we'd have gone to Heidenheim with Robert Sanchez in goal. I genuinely don't think we would have kept a clean sheet. I don't think we would have kept a clean sheet against the majority of teams we kept a clean sheet against in the Conference League if we'd have had Robert Sanchez. The guy, more often than not, good shot stopper. But even that, in recent games, he started to look a little bit flimsy. And yeah, today, man, look, he's never had command of his box. He's never been great at coming to claim, great at claiming set pieces. He's never been a commanding figure inside his box, and that's something that Chelsea have lacked in a goalkeeper for years now. We've had shot-stopping goalkeepers for as long as I can remember. Kepa is a good shot-stopping goalkeeper, but as a whole, as an entire goalkeeper, as an entire player, not good enough, nowhere near enough. He doesn't tick 8 out of 10 boxes he needs to tick. He ticks shot-stopper. That's about it. Athletic, ticks that. He's got youth on his side. Apart from that, the geezer just does not tick any boxes. I don't see what Enzo Maresca sees. I don't see what anybody sees in Robert Sanchez. Genuinely, he's got to go. It's time to go. It's got to go. Right. You know what? I was going to say getting out of positives and getting off the positives. Getting off the negatives. One last negative while we're here. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. Suli, if you're in the chat, Suli, anywhere, Suli, if you see this on TikTok, if you see this on Instagram, if you see this on YouTube, Suli, where are you now, bro? You were telling me before the game that Kiernan Dewsbury Hall was a crucial part of this Chelsea team. And I was telling you, nah. He's not better than Casaday. He's not better than... I can't even remember who else I said. I'm pretty sure I picked out the worst players in the team. He's not better than my nan, bro. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall is the worst player in the squad. Hands down. Not better than Casaday, Chukwuemeka, Ugo Chukwu, Santos, Lavia. I could keep naming names. Not better than Raksaki, Dyer. Not better than McMahon. Not better than Runham. Not better than Castledine. Not better than Harvey Vale. Not better than... I could name so many players that are better than Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. That's just in the Chelsea setup. You've probably got a couple in the female setup that's better than Dewsbury Hall. I don't know a team he gets into in the Premier League. Bro, he don't get into the Leicester team. They keep talking. And that's the worst thing for me about Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. The thing that gets my goat, that pisses me off the most. The commentators glaze the fuck out of him. Oh, the same talented guy that we saw at Leicester. Oh, what a pass, what a ball, what a guy. He did nothing today but occupy Madueke's space. He just stood in Madueke's space the entire time. And Madueke weren't great today. But when he got the ball and wanted to do something, he went to make a decision. He went to run a certain way. And Kiernan Dewsbury Hall was fucking standing there, bro. And to double down on the other side of that, completely absent in the centre of midfield. The game completely bypassed him. And it meant Caicedo had to do so much more. Caicedo had about 3 months' worth to do today. 3 months' load of work to do today. And he did it superbly, and he did it very, very quietly. And he had a great performance under the radar, as always. 80, 85 minutes. My dad, what do you think of Caicedo? My brother said, I don't think he's been that good today. Wrong. Superb. Again, just because he hasn't been shouted about, just because he hasn't been, the commentators haven't been glazing him every 10 seconds, don't mean he hasn't had a top performance. And again, today, I think his importance cannot be understated. Caicedo is, the most consistent performer in the Premier League this season. He's had 1-2 bad games. You know, a couple bad games at the start of the season and then one game the other week. I can't remember who it was against, maybe Palace. But today, I mean, absolutely superb. And we'll get into the team and, you know, individual ratings and stuff now as we move a little bit more into the positives. But yeah, man, Caicedo for me, I think he doesn't get the credit. And I know that people say that he's an unbelievable player and whatever. I still don't think he gets the credit he deserves. Like, genuinely, he's that fucking good. And yeah, you know, 7.5 today. Hasn't gone below, you know, barely gone below a 7 this season. But how they've given Dewsbury Hall a 7.4 and they've given him the assist. That is shameless. Giving Dewsbury Hall the assist for that, absolutely shameless. But man of the match on points. I mean, the Chelsea back line in its entirety was the man of the match. But man of the match, Trevor Chalobah. Lads, how happy are we to have Trevor Chalobah home? I did multiple shorts on it when it was a possibility, before it was a possibility. I did a couple of Lone Watch episodes about it a couple of months ago saying, is Trevor Chalobah the answer? We're sitting here talking about all these youth players we could bring through, all this money we could spend on top centre-backs. Is Trevor Chalobah the answer? We could recall a player back, an experienced player, proven player, a player that's played not only in the Premier League, but in the Championship with Huddersfield, in the League One with Lorient. He's done it in Europe. He's done it at major leagues, three big major leagues. He knows what it takes to play at the top level, to play for Chelsea. He's been an academy graduate since he was 8 years old. He knows what it takes to bleed blue, to play for this badge, to play for the club. I was saying for time there's not a better option. And he's proved it tonight. He's stepped into this team, and I can't lie, I was hoping that he was going to step in alongside Achimpong. But it turns out that him and Tosin, good partnership. Nice little bit of experience back there. Maybe that's what we need to settle down this Chelsea team. A back four, you know, with two experienced centre-backs. You got Mark Cucurella playing as he does at left-back, doing that inverted role. And then you got Reece James also similarly doing the inverted role, but not to the same extent because, you know, we want to keep him as a little bit of a free. But, I mean, look, Reece James tonight, back in the team, unbelievably solid. Assist for the Tosin goal. I said last week, and I'm going to be asking Charles about it persistently tomorrow. I said earlier, in the pre-match preview, why would you sell Reece James? What do you have to gain from selling Reece James? I would keep him for the 4 games a season that he plays. If it was 4 games a season that he plays, I'd keep him for those 4 games because you know you're going to get 4 moments where he changes your season, where he defines your season. And he did it against Bournemouth with the free kick, and he's done it today. A superb performance, you know. Obviously, having a hand in the first goal, huge. Solid at the back, prevented us from a couple more from Cunha down that side. I thought he was excellent today, Reece James. And I still, to this day, maintain England's best right back in the world on his day. And give it 3-4 more games, I guarantee you Reece James will start to see those levels from Reece James. He's played, 90 minutes over 2 games? He's played, a substitute appearance against Bournemouth and then 60 minutes today. And he's got a goal against Bournemouth and an assist today. 2 superb performances, 2 plus 7 rating, an 8.3 rating today. The guy is just inevitable. What you get out of Reece James will be quality. It's quality, not quantity with Reece James. We know that. You're not going to get 30, 40 games out of a season out of this player. You might get one more of those seasons if we're lucky. Maybe next season, fingers crossed. But I don't think we're looking at that from Reece James. I think realistically, you've got to take it with a pinch of salt. You've got to be saying this is a player that's going to be sitting out on the sideline for half the games. But if you can get 15, 20 games out of him, if you can get 15, 20 games of pure quality Reece James, that's better than 40 games of the majority of right backs. He has the effect, has the impact that the majority of players would absolutely kill for. And as a captain, leads by example, man. Absolutely leads by example. Glad to see I'm not the only one. By the way, if you're watching on TikTok, I'm doing this dual. Doing this on the TikTok and the YouTube. I will cut it off on the TikTok very shortly, though, just to maintain focus and quality on the YouTube. Make sure to go over to the link is in my bio. And if you're watching on the YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. If you're not already, get involved in the chat. Who was your man of the match today? Got a couple of people saying Reece James could have been man of the match. But Chalobah for me. Chalobah claims it. I'm not sure about that, actually. I didn't hear it on commentary. But if he is banned, I don't think he could be banned for too many yellows because we're past that point now. So I'm not sure where you heard that, David, but I'm fingers crossed that he would need to get 4 yellow cards or 5 yellow cards in his next game to be banned. But yeah, no, because we're past midway through the season. We're past the 19th game now. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that 5 yellows does not come into effect anymore. But yeah, Lavia is important regardless. I think of the 4 players that Enzo Maresca said was going to be injured today, obviously Cole Palmer, the only one that played, and the only one I kind of hoped he would rest, because honestly, I thought he was looking a little bit leggy at the weekend. And again today, I think that after that challenge, he just didn't look the same. He looked like he was carrying a knock. I'm starting to think that Cole Palmer might be getting a little bit burnt out. I know we've been managing him in terms of just one game a week, and we haven't been pushing him in Europe, whatever. I do get the feeling that all this over reliance on Cole Palmer might be burning him out a little bit. This burden for creativity, to produce, to score. I do kind of feel like he might be a little bit more susceptible to kind of catching injuries, little niggles, little knocks. Maybe we just need to give him a couple of games out. Obviously, now is not the time to do it because we've got Man City next game. Big game for him and for Chelsea in general, but particularly for him. It was a huge fixture last season. It's going to be another huge fixture for him again this year. He's going to be the talk of the town again. It's going to be Cole Palmer versus Man City. So, give him this weekend. I'd say give him as much time as he needs off this week to recover. We need him to perform this weekend. But I do get the feeling that this could be like a Hazard-esque situation where this is a player that's going to get kicked to, his shins are going to get kicked to ribbons, mate. He's going to get the absolute shit kicked out of him. He's going to get 10 bells of hell, whatever the fuck it's called, kicked out of him. So I feel like with Hazard, we always knew he wasn't a particularly good trainer. His attitude off the pitch wasn't particularly good. He wasn't a particularly hard worker or in the dressing room. He was there for the vibes. But when it came to the game, when it came to the match, that 90 minutes, when he stepped on the pitch, you knew he was going to perform. You knew that's when he did his best work. And I feel like that's what we get with Cole Palmer. You don't really have to ask him to do any defensive responsibilities, any roles like that. I can't imagine we're making him do any defending drills or anything like that in training. But it's one of those where you have got to manage him and you've got to look at him and say, look, he played virtually every single Chelsea game last season. Look at what's happened to, I'm just saying as a precursor, I know we're years away. Look at what's happened to Bukayo Saka. Is the over-reliance from Arsenal on Bukayo Saka, Mikel Arteta's inability to rotate, to leave Saka out, to find another outlet, has meant that Bukayo Saka cannot go 60 minutes without getting an injury. And he limps off every single game. And whether that's fake or not, he gets kicked the shit out of. And because he's good and because he gets targeted and because he plays 50, 60 games a season, he's going to tail off. His career is going to start to dip. And we need to be, like I said, I'm catching it early. This is very much a precursor. Prevention is better than cure. We don't want to get to a point with Cole Palmer where we're back in Europe, heavyweight title. We're starting to challenge for titles. And he's like Reece James, where he's out for extended periods. He's not able to play 10, 15 games a season. And we're starting to chalk up a loss on that and look at him as, we're going to have to replace him and look at him as when he's available. If we don't protect this guy, if we overwork him, we over-rely on him, we need to make sure that we have other outlets out there. And there are plenty of players. I mean, look, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the transfer window, not just in January, but also in the summer, because Nkunku today not getting minutes, I'd be fuming if I was Nkunku. Jackson wasn't great today. He had quite a few positive things, but he wasn't great today, and Nkunku could well have got on. Felix didn't get on till late, and it didn't really do much. But if I'm Nkunku, man, I'm fuming. And it's just interesting. The balance in this Chelsea squad is intriguing to me. We're so top heavy. Like, you look at when Caicedo went down earlier, heart was in my mouth, shit a brick. I was on the edge of my seat. I was ready to commit. If Caicedo leaves, if Caicedo gets injured for the rest of the season, we got no Lavia on the bench, no Enzo on the bench, both injured. Kieran and Dewsbury Hall, the only other midfielder. We got none on the bench. I'm thinking, hang on a minute, we're going to have to emergency recall Santos, emergency recall Ugo Chukwu, just after we've emergency recalled Chalobah. But then I look at the bench and we've got Sancho, Felix, and Nkunku. We've got Gu, we've got George. We've got this smorgasbord, as Charms loves to say, of attackers, this plethora of attacking talent. And then Nkunku's not being used. And I get prioritizing it, and I get giving George an opportunity, and it's his breakthrough season. George is nowhere near as good of a player as Nkunku is. I mean, if I'm Nkunku, I'm fuming. I'm looking for a way out because, look, I know we've been playing in the Conference League and he hasn't really been taking the opportunities that he has been given in the Premier League recently, but yeah, man, if I'm him, a 60 million player that got bought, to build the squad around. I know it's through no fault of his own that he got injured, then we bought in Cole Palmer and the whole system changed because no one was expecting Cole Palmer to be as good as he would. But yeah, man, if I'm Nkunku, I'm fuming right now. The fact that he can't get on against Wolves as a substitute, even when it was 1-1, you think Chelsea are looking to the bench to make a positive change. It's Felix. It's Disasi and Gusto. It's not Nkunku's not the first person that they're looking to. And I mean, it's frustrating because he's a quality player, and I do genuinely think he has more than enough talent to fit into this Chelsea team and get into the majority of starting. I think there's very few teams in the Premier League Nkunku doesn't start for, and I think it's unfair he's not starting more games for us. And that's why it sounds weird when I say there's not many teams he doesn't start for in the Premier League, because people come around and say, oh, he's not even starting for you. How can you say that? That's a testament to his talent. That's a testament to his ability, that we should be playing him. He should be getting more minutes, and that he can be rightfully pissed off that he is not starting, because he is that quality player. But it is just the system that Maresca uses is not suited to Nkunku, and Nkunku is not suited to Maresca's system. They go hand in hand. It's neither one of their faults. Maresca was bought in as a manager, was bought in after Nkunku, but I don't hear it, man. I mean, Bex in the chat says maybe saving for City on Sat. I don't hear it. Are we really in a position where we can afford to be, resting players, rotating players? Do we really have that luxury? I don't know, man. We've got into the top 4 today, and it's a big 3 points. We kind of understate how big that 3 points was today to go back above Man City, and obviously it could all go back to shit if we lose against Man City and they leapfrog us at the weekend. But yeah, Gabriel, like you said, he's not even being given a chance. It's not even like he's getting the little substitute appearances. If we were saving him for Saturday, he wouldn't be in the squad. You'd be resting him. You'd be telling him, don't come, don't get ready. Stay at home, stay warmed up, don't risk yourself, whatever it is. I just feel like it's interesting, man, because look, I get that it's not an easy job for Enzo Maresca. He's obviously not enjoying. He's not doing this for his own pleasure. He's not sitting there going, oh, I want to make Nkunku's life hell. I want to make his time at Chelsea unenjoyable. I would want him to suffer. Obviously, that's not the case. But at the same time, you've got to question it when, I mean, look, anybody got anything to say on Maresca today? My family did. My lord. I thought he looked like he was just swanning about the gaff at times today. And I know I've already kind of touched on that Dewsbury Hall was occupying his space, but Bex, lazy, man. The attitude. And you know what? The thing that I got told a few weeks ago, which rings 100% true, I can't unhear it and makes so much sense, is I was speaking to apparently Nona Madueke is from close to me, is from nearby my area. He went to school very close to where I grew up. A lot of people, he's only a few years younger than me, so he's in one of my brother's years. A lot of people that I know and my brother know him. A social circle is very, very close. Apparently, he's the biggest prick. Apparently, he's the biggest cunt. And I don't use that word lightly. Apparently, he is the biggest dickhead you will ever meet in your life. He is just a twat. He's the most arrogant fucker you will ever meet. Unbelievable at football. Used to go power league, used to play at football, used to play on the playground, used to just bully, used to just humiliate people. Unbelievably good with a football at his feet. But so rude and arrogant and disrespectful. And look, can you say that you disagree with that, of hearing that? I mean, the guy knows he's got talent, and I'm not doubting that. I've never said that I'm a huge fan of Noni Madueke. You can go back to before the game in our preview today, where I was still saying that over Sancho, I think he's slightly better dribbler. I think he's our best 1v1 dribbler, our most direct dribbler. I think in terms of the talent, the ceiling he's got He can be a fantastic player. But it's such a fine balance when you're talking about managing and keeping an ego in check and managing to stay humble. You look at players like Pedro Neto, whose output might not have been what we expected it to be this season. He might not have been as dangerous as direct as we would have hoped for Chelsea this season so far. But his work rate, you can never fault his work rate. Exceptional. Every single game. Would bleed for the team, would die for the team. He rates his defense. He helps other people out. He makes other people's jobs easier, whereas Maresca makes other people's jobs harder. Somebody said in the pre-match stream, he'll receive a perfectly good pass, fail to beat his man, and then turn back to the midfielder and be like, "What was that, bro? That was you. You've got to take accountability." And listen, I do think he's a quality player. I just do kind of worry that maybe that ego is getting a little bit out of check. And look, Maresca's done fantastically so far from what we've seen in the press to keep him, tethered, to keep him down to earth, to keep him at arm's reach and say, look, he needs to improve. He's doing fantastically, still needs to get more goals, more assists, more work for the team. He still needs to do more. And that, look, you can't disagree with that. Even when a player is having superb output, they're getting goals, assists every week. We want to see more. We want to see you working for the team. And the thing that I really, really liked about Chelsea earlier in the season is it was very much, we were putting it on a platter for the other players. We were trying to get other teammates to score. But that Noni Madueke goal today, man, where he stole it off the line for Chalobah, I'm there like, why would you take that? Like, Chalobah has been at this club since he's 8 years old, bro. He's come back to the club this week, fairy tale return, started the game, had an absolutely blinding game. Then he scored the goal to potentially win us the game and seal us the 3 points. And you've stole it off the line. Like, for what? Strange to me. Crazy to me a little bit. Did Maresca say that today? Gabriel just said in the YouTube chat that Maresca said he didn't like his attitude. Was that when he said it months and months ago, or was that when he said it today? It'd be interesting to hear that if he did say that today. But, oh yeah, the way he trains. Yeah, he said that a while ago, didn't he? YouTube, bear with me 1 sec. The camera is about to go off. But while the camera does do its thing, David Anderson said the wingers need to produce more. They are there for goals. Oh, also, guys, let me know as well. TikTok. Go over to the YouTube, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, links in my bio. YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the channel, links in my bio, hit the subscribe button, like it as well, all of that, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, all of you in the comments as well. Make sure to keep telling new viewers to thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Let me know as well, who was your man of the match? Who did you rate highly today? What were your thoughts on Sanchez? What were your thoughts on Kiernan Dewsbury Hall? How is it possible to rate them? Is it possible to rate them both -2 out of 10? Because I would. If I could, I would. I hate them both. But yeah, let me know who your man of the match was in the comments of both the TikTok and the Instagram. Don't worry, guys. Camera is coming on in 3, 2, 1. We're back. We're back with a better angle. Don't worry. I'm still beautiful as ever. Come on. Right. David Anderson said the wingers need to produce more. They are there for goals or assists. Both goals today were scored by defenders. I'm counting the first one for Trev. Yeah. I mean, output definitely hasn't been there. Right. Let me know what you guys think about Pedro Neto this season. Has Pedro Neto done enough for you this year? Because for me, I mean, I was extremely gassed when we signed Pedro Neto. I think he was I think he is a very, very good player. I think of our wingers, he has the highest ceiling. I think he has the best potential, the most talent to reach. But I have been slightly disappointed with him this year. And I don't want to be overcritical. First season, he hasn't played every game. It's been big squad, tough team to get into. Hasn't been consistent. Whatever, man. He's shown glimpses. The goal against Arsenal, little bits. But he hasn't done it consistently. And that's one thing about Pedro Neto that I just thought, whenever he played against Chelsea, I thought he had the ability to create something, to score a goal, create something from nothing. Real direct player. excellent delivery, but also always wanted to get in and crack one off, always wanted to get into the box and have a shot. And I just don't feel like we've seen that same direct Pedro Neto. And maybe he's been a little bit more restricted by Enzo Maresca's system, but I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like Enzo Maresca's system is I feel like it feeds to the wingers. I feel like it is very much conducive to how the wingers play and to fast, attacking, fluid football. And particularly to the wingers cutting inside, getting shots in, getting goals, getting assists. But I honestly, I feel like, from Neto, that's been disappointing this year. And that is not to say that he hasn't done very much, because I think he's still played quite well. And, he's still given us big contributions. Like I said, the goal against Arsenal, some big goals and big assists when we needed them. But in terms of the level of player that I was expecting to join from Wolves and that we've seen at Wolves, I know he's had big injuries and whatnot, but yeah, man, I personally don't think he's been anywhere near the player that we saw at Wolves. And I'm still kind of waiting for that Pedro Neto, if I'm being honest. But one player that I think we're not waiting for is Jadon Sancho. I mean, this is this better than the Borussia Dortmund Jadon Sancho? I mean, his touch today, at times, this is phenomenal. I mean, this guy's close control, his ability is chef's kiss. There is no doubt for me at the moment that Neto and Sancho are the best wing pairing. I think obviously, you've got, I think when you save Madueke off and bring him back in, he's a little bit more hungry and he wants to do it, but you didn't really see that today. And, the greed for the goal, I'd say straight back out for the City game. Sancho against City, I like that. And I think he's going to want to go up against, whether it's Kushanov, it'll be interesting to see who plays, whether it's Ake, Akanji. They've got Diaz back. They've got the majority of their players back now. City are in good form, man. We need it. That's another reason why we needed the win today. Because, City at the weekend. Why have we had to play City in the 2 game weeks that they've been on form this season? The first week of the season, where, they've coming off the back of a pre-season where they've just dicked everyone down, and then coming off the back of a 6-0 win against Ipswich. It's not fair, bruv. Why couldn't we have played them in any of the last 3 months when they've been absolutely diabolical? That's how it goes, man. It's like being a Chelsea fan. But yeah, Gabriel agrees. Sancho cannot be on the bench. I think he's too good. Too good to be on the bench at the moment. Too good. Oh, we're out of focus again. That's better. Need to start wearing my glasses on these things. Right, and Kunku used to play as we've already seen that. David said, I would like to see Rak-Saki get some minutes. He looked good in the Conference League, and he is good enough to close out games, give Caicedo a bit of a breather. I don't think he's there yet. Listen, he was. I watched the under-21s. I watched quite a few of the under-21s games this season, a lot more than I usually do. And he is very impressive, but I don't think he's definitely not a calming presence in the centre midfield. I don't feel he's not. I don't know about bringing on a young player if I was going to cherry pick a young player to serve that purpose, it'd be Keanu Dyer. Because I think his distribution's superb. I think his ability, when he came on Friday against Nottingham Forest, he came on at half-time and he completely changed the game, the tempo, the dynamic. He is that metronome. He is the one that decides the pace, and essentially everything runs through him for that Chelsea youth team. And Rak-Saki, yes, he's a little bit more of a constant in the youth team, but I think physically he's got a way to go before he can do that kind of defensive centre midfield role. Caicedo, while he does need that breather, like Caicedo he's very, very good physically. He's got that South American streak in him. He's got that dog in him. I don't see that from Rak-Saki yet, and I do feel like players do need to go and get a loan move in the Championship League One before they can really kind of consider being a solid part of this Chelsea team. And Rak-Saki, I mean, look, while I'm more than happy for us to give him minutes and to, develop him in the latter stages of games and cup games, it wouldn't be to close out games. Definitely wouldn't be looking to the youth for that purpose. It'd purely be, to give them experience. Real Gems say, I think people let him off. Hey, Lemon's in the cut. Oh, I shouted. My headphones bugged out. Fuck. Lemon said, hi there, ladies. Appreciate you, Lemon. Lemon's in the cut. Long time no see. How you been, Lemon? Lemon jumping back on the stream like the week before Chelsea plays City. So I know he's dropped on here to give Just OMG some corn next week. Actually, no, I'm lying. Lemon, you were in the cut last week, weren't you? I'm pretty sure. You were in here recently. But Reece James says, when people see players playing for lower teams and they think they'll do better at Chelsea, I always say pressure affects performance. I agree to an extent. You still need the experience. And yeah, pressure at different levels affects different players. Real Gem says, see, you get on Nonny, but let Neto off. Why? Have you been here the whole time? Have you been here 35 minutes? Because I definitely haven't. I've definitely been equally as harsh on both of them. Actually, you know what? I've been far harsher on Pedro Neto. I've been bigging Nonny up. Every bad thing I've said about Nonny has come with a caveat of, but I think he's an excellent player. But I do really like him. But I do think he's a really great player. He's a really direct dribbler. He's a fantastic one. You ain't heard me say that about Neto, bro. Yeah, I said play Sancho and Neto. So? Can't play one winger. We can't drop both of them. If I had to pick two out of the three, the two that I would pick are Sancho and Neto. Chat, who would you pick? If you had to pick out of the three wingers right now, Sancho, Neto, Madueke, who would you pick? Guys, if anybody picks Madueke, let me know. Real Gems, I guarantee you on the TikTok, on the YouTube, nobody will say Madueke. I guarantee you. And I am Madueke's biggest prop. If you haven't been on this channel before, go and watch the pre-match preview, broski. Go and watch, listen, man. Go and watch anything I've done on Madueke. It is burned into my brain, burned into my rhetoric. Nonny Madueke is our best 1v1 dribbler. He is our most direct dribbler. He is the best player when it comes to taking on a player, wanting to beat his man and put a ball in the box. Boom! I've got that down to a T. I've been saying it for the last 6 months, 8 months, 12 months. The guy just needs to work on his final product. The ceiling's there. The work rate isn't. Neto, the quality wasn't there, but the work rate is. And I will always put hard work over talent. Because there are so many talented individuals out there. So many talented brothers that come through the door at Chelsea. But not very many of them bleed blue. Not many of them would die for the badge. And Pedro Neto, even when if you're having a bad game and you don't work hard, you're going to get booed off the pitch by your own fans. If you have an awful game and you work your socks off, the fans are still going to appreciate what you've done for the team. And yes, completely different aspects of what they do and what they bring to the team. But I mean, that's why I'm edging it for Neto today. I don't know why I'm saying it, edging it for Neto. I'm not picking between the two. You know what I mean? Has anybody in the chat? Anybody? Come on, up Chelsea. Come on, Stephen. Come on, who else? Emilo. Anybody say Madueke? No. Someone said George is looking good. Yeah, I mean, listen, I said earlier, I'd be fucking fuming if I was Nkunku. If you're Nkunku sitting on the bench and you see George go up, you'd be fuming. I mean, I understand it. Look, propping the youth. I love the youth. George is fantastic. I'm so glad that I am glad that he's integrated fully into this first team now. I do think it's a bit of a mistake in hindsight. I think he could still use the experience for the under-21s just to continue his development, continue him getting these goals and assists just to boost his confidence and then get that loan move next year because he's not ready to come into the first team just yet. He's not physically there just yet. He does need a little bit of time to develop still. But superb player, no doubt. George will be up there in the first team in a couple of years. But, with all the young wingers that Chelsea are buying, Esteval Willian, talks of Jamie Bino Gittins, Garnacho. Abdi told me that Garnacho's agent was at the game today. I'm hoping he's lying. I'm hoping he's PR. I'm hoping it's cat. Chukwuemeka looks like he's going to Dortmund at the moment. But, I mean, it looks like he's going. I hope he doesn't, because if that Caicedo scare in the first half told us anything today, we don't have the depth in centre mid that we think we do. And that coupled with the stinker of a Dewsbury Hall performance, we do not have the depth in centre mid that we think we do. We are blessed, obviously, to have a couple of players on loan in Santos and Ugo Chukwu, who can both do those jobs. I mean, I'd be quicker to bring back Ugo Chukwu than Santos, because I don't really think that bringing Santos back, cutting that loan short, stunting his development is going to do anybody any good. That would just be cutting our nose off to spite our face. But similarly, when Russell Martin was manager, maybe I would have said, yeah, bring Ugo Chukwu back in Jan, see if he can find him another loan move or see it out with us for the second half of the season. But ever since the new manager's come in, he's looking like a big part. He got, a crucial assist the other day. He looks like, if they are, I mean, I think Southampton are nailed on to go down, don't get me wrong. But if they do stay up, Ugo Chukwu is going to play a big part in it. So, yeah, I think it would be not unfair because we don't owe them anything, but it would be a bit of a dick move if we were to take Ugo Chukwu back from Southampton with 10 days to go, or less than 10 days to the end of the transfer window. But yeah, that's just about wraps up the live match reaction, I think. The Sanchez crash out wasn't as legendary as it could have been because he got let off the hook massively with that second half performance from Chelsea, but we will be getting into it more. Robert Sanchez, I haven't forgotten about you, my bro. Robert Sanchez, Ken and Dewsbury Hall, I still got time for you, bro, but that time is 6:30 tomorrow night. 6:30 till 7:30 tomorrow night. There's Champions League on as well, so I want to make sure we get it done early. 6:30 till 7:30 tomorrow night. 2 Blues Tuesday. Be here. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. If you're not, make sure to like. Why haven't you liked the video anyway? But lads, ladies, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to tell your friends to tell their friends, tell your family members, tell your nan, get your nan to tell all her care homes. Go start sending out flyers. I'll start paying people commission. Get us to 3,000 subs. Get us monetized. I'll start paying you lot comms. Come on. Trust me. On the TikTok as well. Make sure to follow up at 2 Blues Podcast on the TikTok, on the Instagram. If you want to hear more extended thoughts on the game from myself and my co-host, Mr. C Money Picks, be here tomorrow at 2 Blues Podcast on the YouTube, 6:30 p.m. for 2 Blues Tuesday. That's going to be our weekly recap live stream. So that'll be talking today's game, Champions League previews, bit of transfer talk, talking more about Mamadou Sarr, Chelsea's new signing from Strasbourg today. But yeah, man, I think that about wraps it up. Up the Chelsea, keep the blue flag flying high. Top 4 secure, just how we like it. Is the title race back on?